Alright, we're working on the Lexus again today. Today, I've got some shocks here, some brand new shocks. So these should be the exact length for the Lexus, so we shouldn't have any more issues with any shocks not fitting. We won't look at that pile. But that also means that I've also got a few spare springs and stuff, so if the springs that are currently in the car are not strong enough or not, they're not weighted to hold the car up to the stock height, then I've got a few more springs that I can try instead. But there should be a bit longer than the ones that are in there, so we're going to install these, and yeah, hopefully it'll be all okay. We're just going to get straight into it, lift up the car, and yeah, we're going to put these in. We're doing the brakes and the suspension on the rear today. So for the brakes, we're going to take off the caliper, and then we're going to hang it while we do the rotor. Once that's done, we'll put everything back together, and then we'll pull out the coil on each side, swap them with the new ones, maybe change the actual spring. Hopefully we won't need to, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. Thank you. Take off the caliper. Oh. Make sure you hook it. You don't want to put any stress onto the actual soft line because it will not hold and it'll be a bad day in the office.
Okay, so we're opening these. These are for the number plate light. Okay, we're back. I opened it all by myself. And I'm going to use this to go and put these in. Okay, bye.
We've got Frankie here as well. Frankie's helping. You helping, Frank? Yes, you are. Yes, you are helping.
So you're going to locate the arse of your car. Your number plate should be there, but ours is not because it's unregistered. I've just unscrewed those two little things, and you're just going to pull it off. Be careful because it's fucking fragile. Oh, fuck. So now you got that off, all you got to do is pull it out. And that's it. Got our new one, and we're just gonna plug it in. Just like that.
Okay. I don't know how I'm going to get this off. So I've been having some issues. I've got the rear suspension out of the back, and I got the rotor off. I'll show you guys how to do that in a bit. I've got the rear strut off. I ran into a bit of an issue. Here's the dilemma. Here's the coil that I've been using in the rear. Here's the new shock. Put the coil over the shock, and as you can see, this little stop, the kind of coil holder or whatever, I don't know what this bit's called, is too small for the spring. That's because this is designed to have a stock LS400 spring. This is not a stock LS400 spring. This is a chaser spring, or maybe a Sora spring. That's fine. You already know. I've got 3.5 sets of springs now. Grab another spring. This is a smaller spring. I've got one the same size as this, which is a sport spring from a Sora, which is the same size. Obviously it won't work, but it is a bit stiffer, so maybe it'll work in the front. Here's a smaller spring. You can see the size comparison between the two. Doesn't look that small next to it, but the diameter of this actual spring is smaller. So I gave it a try. As you can see, still a little bit big. It's not going to sit in the spot. That's okay. I do have proper coil that I need on the front right now on the car. So what I'm going to do is, for each side that I do, I got to lift up the whole side of the car, get the front out, get the rear shock out, Frankenstein them together to make them work. More just like use the front on the rear and the rear on the front, and the rears are obviously going to have the new extended shocks, so they should be sitting at a good height once I'm all done. So let's continue the saga and get the fronts off. Alright, taking out this castle nut just here will give us enough room so that we can drop the knuckle down just low enough so that we can get out the shock. Right, I've got a ball socket remover, whatever, I don't know, a separator, I think is what it is. Gonna help me out here. 17mm socket, not 17, alright, 19. One of the most important tips is to leave the nut on. This is so the nut makes sure that when this finally separates from this ball joint, it won't come flying out. You'll hear a big clunk. There you go. Alright, that castle nut's decided to go for a holiday. Now it's loose. Oh shit. I'm gonna hold this in there for a bit. There we go. Alright, stay there for a second, dude. I'm gonna use a 19mm. Get this lower bolt out of the shock. Take this out. This is what we need. So you can probably see right now, the bottom comes to like a skinny point and the top is nice and thick. So I need this to go on the rear. So yeah, you can see that these are about 3 centimeters longer, maybe a bit more. This shock is going to come out. This is going to be going onto the rear. So yeah, let's do that. Some time has passed and I've made a grateful discovery. So unfortunately, this set was going to go onto the rear with a different shock, and this set was going to go on the front. The issue is that this that was going to go on the front, this ring here will not clear the front knuckle. The reason why this is tapered in is to clear everything, and this is the only coil that is going to fit in that spot. Out of all the coils that I have here, all of the springs, this is the only one that's going to fit. Now, unfortunately, I needed this one for the rear, but it's not going to work there. But I've made a discovery. These rings that the springs sit on are actually removable. So that is fantastic news. I'll tell you what's going to happen to you, big nuts. Going to get a little circumcision today. We're going to get some new skin sewed right onto ya. Anyway, these will still be going back onto the front, but I'll be able to use a different spring for these, which is excellent. Yeah, that didn't work too well. Anyway, what I ended up doing, I kept fucking around with this for a bit, but then what I ended up doing was I bought a set of IS350 rear shock to go on the rear. I ended up swapping the top hat over so that it would fit into the LS400. The rear bushing was a little bit too thin, so I bought a set of polyurethane bushings for the IS200, machined out the inner sleeve so that it would fit the right bolt that I needed, and then kind of squeezed it into the shock. And that fit, and that works perfectly. Holds it at a really good height. Sorry for not filming, but that is the suspension fully finalized for the LS400. No need to worry about it anymore. No more pairs of shocks to buy. Thank God. Anyways, enough of that. I mentioned I was going to quickly show how I got the brakes off. They were pretty fucking hard to get off. Holy shit. I don't know when the last time this thing had the brakes changed. Anyway, what I did was there's these little holes in the rotors that you can shove a bolt into. You just keep screwing the bolt in and it'll just push the rotor off just like that. Afterwards, I put some anti-seize on just so that it wouldn't be this hard again. And obviously make sure that the handbrake's off. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I'll wrap it up. See you next one.